We're joined now by the driver of the number 19 Aris Toyota. Comes to Talladega Super Speedway atop the Sprint Cup Chase grid on a bit of a hot streak. Won the last 2 consecutive races. Carl Edwards, tell us your thoughts heading into the Geico 500 here at Talladega.
First of all, it's pretty cool to see the Holmes family here. They've done a lot for me. I got to drive their late model and it win at Tony's race at Eldora, and so see Brett doing this is really cool. So yeah, that's been the highlight of my day so far. So now we go practice, and yeah, we've been doing great. The cars have been fast, and we've been working well together as a team. Dave Rogers and I are having a blast, and it's cool to have those 2 wins. But we've been just running well. I mean, we've had some couple of races where we struggled, and we were able to just keep digging, never quit, and get good finishes. So we'll just come here and hopefully duplicate what we were able to do as a group at Daytona. I was really proud of that.
Excellent. We'll now take questions for Carl. We'll start with Mike Embry right here.
Mike Embry, USA Today. 2 wins in a row now. Do you plan just to run the table the rest of the way?
Yeah.
And have you had the talk with Kyle yet?
So, yeah, we plan on winning every race, but, man, this is so tough. I mean, if you look at last week, there were 4 or 5 guys that could have won that race. Things have gone a different way. So what we're going to do is just keep our heads down, keep working. The neatest thing was that after we got the win at Bristol, there was so much pressure off, and you always wonder if the performance is going to change, and it didn't. We went there and we did a good job at Richmond. But no, Kyle and I have not had a chance to talk yet. I was testing in Indy for 2 days. I missed the meetings, but this weekend will require us to all get together as a group and work well together, and I'm sure we'll have a chance to talk.
We'll go to Matt and then Jonathan.
Matt Weaver, AutoWeek.com. Given Tony Stewart's fine last week for his opinions, and then Danica coming out and saying she didn't know what would result in a fine, what opinions she could share, right. What is the balance that drivers have to strike between sharing opinions and speaking their mind to the media, but also not saying anything that would damage the NASCAR brand?
Well, I listened to Brian France speak on Sirius this week, and the way I understand it, and I haven't had a direct conversation with him, but the way I understand it is he wants us to be outspoken. He wants us to share our opinions and things up to the point that it somehow diminishes the sport as a whole. So I guess that's where we have to be careful. I'm not exactly sure the line, but I can tell you this: everybody in the garage, whether they're wearing a fire suit or a suit and tie or whatever, the sponsors, NASCAR, the drivers, all of us want the sport to be the best it can be. So I guess just go do the best we can to promote the sport the best we can, but also I hope we're able to just speak our minds. I haven't had a fine yet, so I'm not exactly sure where the line is. I've been talked to a couple times, but nothing too bad.
We'll go over here to Jonathan.
Jonathan Merriman, NASCAR.com. Carl, chasing that first plate win in a Cup car, how badly do you want that, and do you bring the same piece you had at Daytona back? It had obviously had a couple dents in it. But
that one was hurt a little bit, but it ran well. I looked at Randy. I was going to talk to you about this actually. I don't need to see my stats at these places when we come because they're not good. But I think it's an average finish of about 20th, and here I am talking to Brett about what he should do. But yeah, we've got I'd like to get a super speedway win. We've got great cars, we've got great teammates. I feel like I know how to run these races, but just haven't been able to get the victory out of it. So yeah, hopefully we can do that.
We'll stay over there to Chris, and then we'll come here to Jordan in the middle.
Chris Mike at Trends.com. I spent some time with the Holmes family this week, and they were rehashing on some of the stuff that they've gone through throughout their career. They mentioned that you drive for them at dirt and actually competed across the street at Talladega dirt track. You won, then got out and tried to do the backflip, and you fell when you did the backflip.
Yeah, I don't remember falling real bad, but I think it was bad enough. Schrader said something like, "You can do all the backflips you want when you win." He said, "When I win, I'm going to sit on this tire and have a piece of pizza and a beer." And at that moment, that sounded a lot smarter than the backflip. But yeah, that was fun meeting them over there. That track is a blast. I got to go over there and run with a bunch of NASCAR guys. Got to run with Red Farmer, and then Stacy and I put a deal together, and we went and ran Tony's race, and man, it was really cool. Just really cool group of people.
What's the best advice you can give to Brett today in his ARCA Super Speedway start?
Like I said, I'm not the best guy to talk to, but I have wrecked about every way you can here. So I just just what I told him a minute ago. It's just to make sure you're there at the end and not tear up the race car. This place it's deceptively tough and deceptively dangerous because you get, there's so much room to race. You get so comfortable, you get lulled into this sense of security, and then when something happens, you realize, wow, this is it's really hard to get stopped, and it's hard to control the people around you and avoid them. So just to be there at the end is the key. Yeah.
We'll go to Jordan in the middle, then back over here to Jenna.
Jordan Bianchi, SBNation.com. Carl, what separates a driver who has a lot of success in plate races versus a driver who has not had a lot of success in plate races? What is it? Experience? Is it just learning from your mistakes? What is that?
I don't know. I think you've really got to understand. First of all, you have to be there at the end. You can't make stupid mistakes. I learned that early on. I wrecked one time here, and I got out, went down, sitting in the garage talking to Jack, and I said something like, man, there's just nothing I could do. I couldn't miss the wreck. And he said, you might want to go look at the tape because he said, you drove right past Tony Stewart into the wreck. He somehow missed it. So I went back and watched, and I learned from that. You really got to be watching ahead. You got to pay attention. But I think the thing that separates the guys that win, from my perspective, what I've seen, is it's the guys that are really aggressive, that they stay out there, they block, they work the traffic. And now with 2 wins, Dave and I talked about it. We're just going to go be aggressive the whole day, and have that confidence to go up there and not worry about the outcome. And I think you have to do that to get the win. That's what it looks like.
We'll go back over here to Jenna.
Jennifer AP, this is a really serious question.
Okay.
The backflip. So you kind of have to keep doing it when you win because it's your thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So when do you get too old to do that, or what happens when you get hurt?
I'm going to be honest, my foot hurt awfully bad last week after we got done with all the pictures. I'm like, Randy, I think I hurt my foot. But I over-rotated at Bristol a little, and then I under-rotated a little at Richmond. I just don't do a lot of backflips, and so it's...
Because you don't win enough.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We're working on that. So, yeah, I don't know.
Is there going to be a point where you're going to be too old to do that?
I imagine. I just, everybody has their day. It's the oldest I've ever been right now. And, but, yeah, I just got to... It's easy to do the flip. It's just hard to land it, right. That's the hard part. But that's what I've got. And yes, I'm aware that now I'm obligated to do it. I get booed out of the place if I don't. But I do know there's people up there watching. Not everybody's excited. Some of them are like, "Watch, this is the one. This is the time." They got their camera, but we'll see.
We're going to go to Bob right here in the middle, and then
It's a hard-hitting question from the AP right there.
Then to Kelly.
Bob Hocker, ESPN. What was your reaction to the lug nut rule this week? You've been a guy who's had to come down pit road for a loose wheel late in race earlier this year, and it seems to me the drivers want it, but the crew chiefs now are all sweating bullets.
I don't know exactly what the rule is. I know that they're going to check the lug nuts before and after the race. Correct? Is that right?
That's correct.
So I don't know. My pit crew guys, we had one loose wheel that I can remember in the last year and a half, and it was at Texas. And Clay, my front tire changer, he knew it was loose. I mean, he knew when we left. He said, "Man, that one's iffy." So as soon as I said, "Hey, I might have a problem," he said, "You got to come down pit road." So I really trust my guys. If they say, "Hey, that wheel's good, it's going to stay on," it's good. And but as far as safety goes, I think everybody knows NASCAR does the best they can for safety. And regardless of how we got to the rule, I know that was a little messy, but it seems like it's a good thing.
We'll finish up with Kelly.
Kelly Crandall from PopularSpeed.com. Carl, you mentioned before going to Bristol how much pressure you put on yourself to get a win with this team. When you drive cars from Joe Gibbs Racing, who we know right now are obviously the standard in the Sprint Cup Series, when you drive cars like that, how much pressure or how much of a relief is it when you do get a win? Because the last 2 weeks, you look like you were breathing much easier afterwards.
It's a great question. Dave and I actually talked about that with these cars and with the pit crew that we have and the engines from TRD. I mean, when you win with these cars, it feels like about what you should do. It's not. It's a different feeling. When you have cars this good and you have veteran people working on them, and as some people point out, I'm an aged veteran now. I mean, we should be winning these races, and it is a little bit different feeling. It feels like we're out doing our jobs, and so it's more satisfying than euphoric or. It's a really neat feeling, and hopefully we can just keep it up.
Carl, we wish you good luck this weekend. Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.